Hey, how you doing?
Hi,
Can you
I'm
hear me
good.
just fine?
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly. Awesome.
Yay.
What time is it over there?
8:30.
Okay, it's early in the morning.
It
Early. Look, I'm not going to waste any time because I know this was one a lot of people were very excited about. So first off, thank you for being part of it as well.
No,
Uh,
my God. I just want to stop you right there and tell you thank you because how incredible it is to see everyone coming together. Like, I don't know how you made it happen, but that's God's work. It's amazing. So I'm very excited to be here for such a good cause, too. So thank you.
Really appreciate it. So look, I think in the UK we don't really have many events where we can actually get people involved. I know in the US you guys have loads. You've got a women's workshop coming up in a couple of weeks, which looks mega. I've always wanted to try and have some more like that. So this is the next best thing by doing a webinar and bringing global names like yourself. Guys, just a reminder as well, the Just Giving link is at the top. Please do make a donation. Any donation you make, every £2 you do donate will be one raffle ticket. And so if you donate 10 quid, you get 5 raffle tickets. And we did a raffle draw in 2 weeks' time. I will be sharing the prize list very soon. Also, guys, I'm about to drop in the comments below. Take a picture of this webinar, post on your Instagram story. And if you tag Lauralie, BTS, and Explosive Ape, we'll announce one winner at the end to win an exclusive Explosive Ape hamper. So I will drop the details in the comments below. But look, we're going straight into this, and I will be going to your questions, guys, throughout. So please do direct any questions you want in the comments. I will aim to get through as many of these as possible. But I want to start first. Look, you got the win. You got Miss Bikini title, the one at Olympia, the one you've been chasing for a while, having been previously very successful with the Arnolds. Obviously, going for your fourth Arnold this in about 7-8 weeks time. I listened to an interview on Olympia TV with yourself and Ashley with Tarek, and I want to touch on something, and that is the environment that you have built for yourself, the bubble that you've created that's going to best prepare yourself for any journey for success. So going for the Olympia title, going for the Arnold. For those competitors who want to focus on trying to create the best environment around them, what advice would you give for something like that?
Um, you know what? I'm so glad you bring this up because I do think it was the factor, that made it um, to my win, like one of the biggest factor, right? Because all the other variables are pretty much the same. I still train, I still diet, but the environment was pretty rock solid for this time. And by environment, I'm talking about coaching, talking about having your support system around you. And first and foremost, I think um, knowing yourself is very important. And sometimes, I started the sport. I was very young, and I don't think I knew myself as much as I know myself now, which it makes relationships with coach, with trainers, so much more um, deep, if I can say that. And it's not just like I receive a diet and I execute. It's a lot more deeper than that. So my environment with my trainer is a very in sync work. Like we're very open, I'm very vulnerable, and he's able to just take that. And you guys are going to speak with him, I think, in 2 slots from now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's going to be able to touch base on that, but better than I can tell, because I'm just the athlete doing the work. But you just want to be in a safe space. And when I say that, is being able to do what you do in your best of your abilities, while having things that can be not under your control, but under your control because you have that bubble around you. And um, I'm so appreciative of the team that I have around me. And additionally to Kim, I just signed with Evogen, and Hani, I've played, also a factor around me. So now I have sponsor that I absolutely love and I enjoy working with. And it just made my job so much easier. And the Olympia prep was the longest prep I've ever done in my life. It was a 22 weeks long prep, and it's like in the blink of an eye, it was just gone. And I had to reflect on it because I was like, wait, that prep was really hard. Like, it was very intense cardio, like daily. The diet, I've never been like super high calories either. So I've been, hungry and all this stuff, but I had so much fun. I had so much fun doing it. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I know a lot of people sometimes it feels like there's a certain blueprint into like how things should be and how things should go, and the success should be immediate and all this stuff. But I've learned so much through every ups and down in my career. And, um, even with Kim, like we nailed it every single time except for 2 Olympias. We won every single of our shows we did together for the past 3.5 years, except 2 Olympias that we had 4th and 5th. So, and these were our biggest lesson, and we were able to always flip that and go and win the Arnold. And then this year we found our method that worked the best in order to be successful for winning that title, the Olympia title. And so, yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to flip this on its head. People will always go through moments where maybe there is some negativity within their circle which they have to remove. People want to keep controllable factors within their environment, not have anything that's uncontrollable that could impact their prep, their journey to get to where you're at or get to any stage. So do you have an example of maybe when you did have something that was a negative within your environment that you had to remove it? I think that something like that would resonate with a lot of people on maybe they go through something similar and they've got some negativity in there and they need to remove it.
Well, there's a couple things that comes to my mind when you ask me that question. So when I look back, right, on what on things would happen and or like drama that I was kind of involved in, which I didn't want to be involved in at all, like ever. And it just happened around me, whether it's because of like being in the public eye, like people put it up a lot of narrative, and I've always chose to handle that with silence, just because my job is to do my job, right? Like, so I think when you're faced with adversity in your life or something that is negative and kind of bringing you down around your circle, you do know how you feel around them. And I think you really should honor those feelings all the time. And again, it starts with a lot of retrospection into like who you are as a person and how you show up into the world. But don't think you can cope with it or go through a prep with it and think you're going to enjoy it, right? Like you should think about your circle around your prep. Are these people that you would bring to your wedding day? And I've been using that analogy like nonstop about prepping for a show should be like your wedding day, and everyone around you, or would you invite them? Like, are you able to be at peace when you're like getting prepared for it, and all these things? So you can't really avoid negativity, especially in the world today, I feel like. But you can definitely control your reactions to it and be solid on your boundaries. And it took me a while to do that because of other tendencies that I have, like people pleasing and all this stuff, and I always felt like, if it's not me that is being negative, like I'm going to be able to keep on pushing and keep on going. But I promise you it has effect on your well-being as an overall. So to a point where sometimes things get so positive that you think something is wrong. And especially in bodybuilding, there's a romanticizing of just pain and everything should be hard. And the harder it gets, the more you're going to be deserving of the things. But genuinely, you don't deserve nothing in bodybuilding. So make it good for yourself, make it enjoyable for yourself, and as much as you can. So then when the hunger comes, well, you can handle it gracefully, because then it's just a battle within yourself. And I think that's what builds your character at the end of the day. But you shouldn't build your character from handling negativity. Like nobody's gonna applaud you for that. Like there's no victories into handling that. You're not gonna be a stronger person because a lot of people don't know what I've been through, you know. So I've only been the one who made it harder for myself, or so yeah, just make it easy for yourself, make it enjoyable for yourself. That should be your first and foremost goal as much as you can.
Perfect. Now, I'm going to jump on this question, but I think this one kind of links well to what we were talking about in regards to the people around you and that environment. And this is a question from Maria, and she's asking, what do you do on those days when you feel unmotivated or burnt out? Do you have a personal mantra or affirmation that keeps you focused during those tough times?
I really, again, okay, when I noticed that you like the topic I was assigned to was champion mindset, right? I kind of started to freak out because I was like, what am I actually going to say? Because when I think mindset, when I think champion, I'm just me. Like I'm literally just me waking up every day, executing what I have to do, and going through that process. And I don't know if it's because I've been doing it for a while, but I also remember when I first competed and I first started prepping and I first went to the gym, I really found kind of enjoyment, and that I was always called back to go back to the gym, and slowly that gave me momentum to do my diet, and then I just kept on going. And it's just kind of like that momentum that just keeps on going. And you know, you develop some different goals and some visions. You know, you start with your pro card, you start with, you know, then maybe a title, and then slowly but surely you start chasing titles, and you don't even know you really are doing that. You know, you just keep on doing what inside of you is. It is what it is, you know. So developing that discipline, I think if I was to go back and I wanted to create that momentum again, I would visit gym around my area that makes me feel good, that makes me feel like I can push myself. And it could be very different, right? Like if I was right now starting to look to build a set environment to prep, I would probably go to a gym where it's warm when I do cardio. Like I love when it's warm when doing cardio because I know myself now, right? So, okay, I want to, if I wake up at 5 a.m, I want to do cardio. I want a gym that's hot. So I'm going to find a gym that's hot. And then when I train, I want certain machine. I want certain environment. Do I want like a lot of people with like that ego, like driven kind of like lift, you know what I mean? Or a certain trainer, a certain coach. Like you start building that little world of yours, because that's what it's going to become. Like bodybuilding is going to take a lot of part of your life. So again, make it where you kind of get that itch or that will, right? Like the willpower should always be like stronger than anything else, and build that for yourself. I think that's going to be a lot more to rely on instead of, or that momentum, to rely on that momentum instead of on affirmation and mantras. Like, don't get me wrong, I love me some little motivation talk on YouTube sometimes when I do cardio and it's really, really hard and it's late at night. Like sometimes that's my playlist I'm going to play, or looking into different playlists. Like find what makes you groove and what makes you tap into a place where you want to push yourself and be your best self. And my playlists have changed like all over the years. Like I look back on, you know, playlists I was posing to and playlists I was doing cardio to, like they're so different. Like it's very interesting looking back. And now, you know, I journal a lot more on when I prep. So that helps me also call myself on my BS sometimes, you know, and you have to be good at that and be like, well, are you like really tired where it's going to be unhealthy pushing? And then you can have that conversation with your coach and have that back and forth where you know he's going to have your best interest at heart. And you should also know yourself to a point where, okay, I'm going to be pushing. If I go, it's not going to be beneficial and it might be even hurting me in the long run. So I'm going to take a day off. And you have to start being able to do that. And I think that also comes from experience. And I think there's a certain intuition that you start developing for yourself with the years. But I'm going way too far with that question, but all in all, no mantras, just a certain will and a certain will that creates a momentum, and then you just kind of go from there and just try to execute and walk towards the vision. Whatever happens throughout that walk, if it goes like this, you just keep on walking, because you know that at the end, like, there's something that you desire and that you're working towards, which is that should be what wakes you up in the morning, you know?
No, that's definitely fair. Look, I'm going to jump on some of these questions because literally there's so many coming through right now, and I'm literally like strapped for time for like 15 minutes. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try and challenge. We're going to try and get through as many of these as possible. I'm going to start with Scarlett's question here. What was your mindset or thought process or reason for the slight change in your routine this year versus last year? I think she's probably referring to 2024 to 2023.
So my posing routine, right? Or are we talking about like my routine as a whole?
I think she's referring to the routine as a whole.
Okay. Well, you know, as an athlete, and because I competed bodybuilding, my routine or mindset thought process is from a game plan that we get from, obviously, feedbacks from the judges. So every time that I compete, whether I win or not, our start of our prep is always, okay, let's assess our past competitions, like our past showing, what were the feedbacks, and then it's like, okay, where are you right now in this right time? Do you have any injuries or pain that we need to take account of? Like, I'm always on the ground zero every time that I start prep, and that's how we build the next prep ahead of us. The only thing that we're taking from past prep, it's obviously the good, you know, if it was successful, we're trying to obviously mimic those variables, and the feedbacks. So, you know, this past Olympia, we did a lot of things that we wanted to take away from the judges' eyes, right? So, like, when they give you a feedback, and I think one of my feedback was like, I get very shallow in this area. So, okay, well, we're going to implement a chest workout, you know, every week now, you know, not every month. We're going to have a chest workout every week. It's just going to be a little, like, 2 exercises, and we're going to implement that. That's for training. Now, nutrition, where are you right now? How's your blood work? Can you, you know, digest the carbs really properly, or should we go more fats? We don't need to, you know, put on some muscle. Can you train fasted? So we assess and create a game plan from there, and that we have our baseline, and from that baseline we go up from there. The thing that changed for this prep, 22 weeks out, I told Kim, I was like, listen, I'm ready. Like, my blood work is on point. I'm motivated. Like, I have a lot of energy. Let's start cardio 60 minutes a day, and let's just ramp it up instead of going by small increments, because our goal off season is always to go back to, again, ground zero or novice as much as we can, and kind of build from there. So we're going to have a higher calorie and just create a deficit, and then create a small deficit with cardio, and then increase from there, instead of starting high with cardio and then kind of a high with calories. But it ended up kind of matching. It was very interesting to do. So if you have, you know, and I had the joint health to do so, I had body work to do so. So assessing where you are now, it's one thing, and then having the feedback and create a baseline for yourself. And then the mindset comes with it, you know. Once you have the plan, it's like, all right, I'm going to have to develop a mindset to do that 60 minutes of cardio, because you might feel really good for the first week, and then that 60 minutes of cardio is kind of hard, but you keep on pushing, and you find that groove. You find new playlists to listen to. You find new podcasts. You find new routines. You know, you find yourself that you might train better right after your morning cardio, or now you train better at nighttime, and being able to adjust and change and rediscovering yourself throughout the prep is very cool. It's amazing. Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Scott. Okay, look, we've got about like 15 odd questions coming through now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to challenge you, Lauralie, to see if we can get an answer within 30 seconds. And then that way, nobody's going to be disappointed if I miss that question. All right, here we go. First one. Ralaku saying, is it possible to get to the Olympia stage without a coach, a team, or trainer?
Yes, you
there
can.
You go. Straight. There's a simple answer. Is there an age that is considered too old for starting?
No.
For example, she's 24.
No.
Any
No.
advice for someone doing their first show?
Oh my God, don't think about any limitations. Like that is the limitation for itself. You're never too old. You're never too young. Yes, you're actually too young. Sorry about that. But whatever feels right for you at that moment, if it's a calling and in your heart and you really know why you're doing it and it's very solid and your why is very solid, go for it. Because as long as you're not doing it, that fire is never gonna just stop burning. It's gonna still be there. It's gonna talk to yourself, and until you actually do it and you experience it, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So just make sure your why is really hard, because your high is very solid, because when it gets hard, you can look back at your why and it's just going to get a little bit easier, you know?
I love that answer. Quality. Maria, what's the biggest bodybuilding lesson? What's the biggest lesson bodybuilding has taught you, both on stage and off stage?
Oh my God. Bodybuilding taught me so much. Okay. I want to say bodybuilding taught me that like bodybuilding is my control within chaos. Like life can be chaos, but like my bodybuilding is like my pillar, right? It's like the thing that I have control on, and it's the most beautiful thing, because everything that you put in, you get out of. And yeah, it's so character building. You have no idea.
That's quality answer. And what about off stage?
Off
stage
stage,
as well? Both on stage, off stage.
It's on, and it's really on and off, right? It's like that.
Love that. Give me an answer for both. Love that.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, brilliant. Okay. Oh my God, there's more. Just keep flying through. Kaden,
I love that.
How did you balance?
Everyone for being there?
I know. I was like, oh, give me a chance. I keep seeing new comments coming through. How do you balance life with competing at that level? And how did you cope with the sacrifices you've had to make?
Ooh, bodybuilding and prep, like you have to find balance every 3 hours. Like it's that little window, right, where you don't have a meal. Like you try to find balance in between those moments. It's very hard. It can be very challenging. So again, like that's why your environment have to be so supportive of what you do. But balancing life, just try to think about who you want to be during that process. So for me, if I want to be a good daughter, a good sister, like I'm going to make sure that I allow time with my family. It could be just a phone call. And these are they don't become sacrifices, but they're things that you want to do in order to have your journey being to your image and keeping yourself who you are throughout all that. I think that's the balance, right? Like I think yes, there's bodybuilding, but you don't have to isolate yourself. You don't have to be nothing else than a bodybuilder in order to be a good and a great bodybuilder. I think our biggest champion in the sport some of them are father, like some of them are obviously brother, or they all have other dimension into their life that I'm sure they want to fulfill that as well. And so I think that's where your balance comes in. If you want to go to social event, still go and bring your meals with you. And that might be the biggest sacrifice. It's just like, you're going to have to say no to your grandmother's pie on like Christmas sometimes. Like it does happen, but you have to do it where like people are going to look at you in such awe and respect. And that's just your boundaries for a certain season of time, and accept that.
Nice. I like this question coming up. Nadia, if you can go back to the start of your journey, what advice would you give yourself?
I would give myself the advice of stop worrying so much. And I'm trying to tell that to myself. And I have good friends around me that tells me to stop worrying for everything. And I think when you care a lot about something, right? And it's hard to be loved by everyone all the time. But yes, don't worry. Do what feels right for you is what I would tell myself, my younger self.
Nice. Melinda Hamilton, what is your best advice for someone who's prepping for a show and your partner isn't into bodybuilding?
Oh, well, Melinda, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that is not you. I hope that's a friend of yours and you can, help her throughout all that. That's a tough question. Again, it's one of those things where either you guys are gonna maybe grow apart, or you're gonna be so solid, like so into it that he's gonna get inspired, or he or she is gonna get inspired, and um, I think it's one of those things. It's either you're gonna get tired of just the nagging all the time because you're going to be solid in your boundaries and you're going to have to go to the gym maybe late at night, maybe for your second cardio, and either that person is going to come with you, maybe try to invite them into like joining you, or maybe trying to understand their perception. Maybe there's a misunderstanding, and bodybuilding is still a misunderstood sport if you don't really talk to people in depth about it. And for me, it took a long time, to explain to my parents, like, hey, I'm an athlete and this is what is requiring me to do. And my God, they're the biggest fan now. Like, there's no biggest fan than my parents. Like, so give them a chance, try to communicate on your end as much as you can, as well as you can, put it out there. Sometimes like showing a documentary can help, and just invite them into your world and try to understand why they can be supportive. And then you can make your decision whether or not it's going to be good for you for the rest of the prep.
I like that. Sophie's asking, is there something that you do that makes you feel it gives you the edge over your competitors?
No, I genuinely, I cannot think of my competitions during like because we're so different. Like, I think once you start comparing yourself, or like even trying to tap into like, I want to beat people, you're really losing the essence of the sport. Like, the essence of the sport really is bringing your best self, and that should really be what you're aiming for. And if tapping into an alter ego for you to be your best self, for you to go do your cardio and do your training, okay, I absolutely like tap into that, and if you're maybe a shy person, that might help you. But for the sole reason to have an edge on your competitor, like you never know until you're on stage, and you have to practice that beforehand. So no, that's an interesting question though. No.
Guys, there's a few questions about the fit model division. I will refer you guys to Lauralie's interview on the Olympia TV, where they actually did a whole episode on the fit model division, and you're with Ashley as well. I would say that's a really good one to go to if you do want to get her perspective on the fit model division. It's an hour-long episode, so there's plenty there to jump on. I've got a question from Laurel. She's asking, do you journal, as in like your goals, gratitude, and do you listen to any particular mindset tracks?
Hi, Laurel. I love her very much. Do I journal? I've journaled this entire past prep for the Olympia 2024. I 22 weeks of journaling every single day, and journal can really be a 4-liner thing. I log in my meals, but just not necessarily my food, but my meal timing, and just a thought. Sometimes it's like, wow, today I woke up and I felt so full and crispy, or wow, today I'm so bloated. So, that reminds me of talking to my coach about something I might have to change. It can be as simple as that, or sometimes, yeah, like I have something in my mind that just needs to be, spoken about. And then I go and find my tools to speak about it, So yeah, journaling, I think it's very important to just keep yourself centered and aligned with your goals and your goals, but also like who you are as a person, and just always going back to that.
One question I want to ask as well. So look, you've won three arms. We're going to your fourth. You've got the Miss Bikini title. When it is all said and done, how do you want to be remembered when you do hang up your bikini? What do you want people to look back at your legacy that you've left behind in the sport of bodybuilding?
It's so interesting because I wish I feel like as a champion, you always wish that people would see you while you're doing it, right? And not just when you're set, you're done and gone. So I do my goal, if I was to go back, is to continue to speak and be out there and talk about my journey in the most honest way and most vulnerable way that I can, in order to people to bring them with me so they can look at me and be like, wait, if Lauralie is doing it, I can do it. And that's really what I want to leave behind, but I would love to do it while I'm actually doing it, because I think that's even more special, the connection that you get with people. And I see it like on my program, like these lady, I finally like did my challenge. I never felt like qualified to do like a, to share my knowledge about training, but I have, a couple, like 100 ladies that are on that app, and like they're just straight champion. Like they motivate the heck out of me now. I'm like, wow, like you girls are champions. So we all have that inside of us, and I really want to help people unlock that. And I've never been. I think there's a lot of things that I can't speak about, but I know that there are things that I can speak about that people can relate on and feel stronger, or feel like seen and validated. So
Let's finish off this last one. Look, you're a champion. You have that champion mindset. How does someone go by creating that champion winning mindset, whether they're home, at a gym, on the show day? How would you describe it? How can somebody activate that type of mindset to better themselves?
Oh my God. I think a champion mindset, it really comes down to how do you create consistency, and just like that rock solid thing, like that pillar in your wherever it's at, right? That thing that that you can control. And I know control has such a bad connotation, but it really is the thing that you always go back. That's where your heart goes, that's where your mind goes. Like when I want to feel good, I go to the gym. When I feel bad, I go to the gym. Like when I'm happy, I go to the gym. When I'm sad, I go to the gym. Like it's always that kind of like non-negotiable for myself that makes me happy, that makes me feel better about myself. And sometimes it's hard, but it just becomes that automatism. So create a consistency within your routine, and yeah, again, it really starts from you. It's very inside, it's very intrinsic, like so it's hard to explain. Because it's never like something for me that's outside that I want to reach or something. When I got the Miss Olympia, it actually took me a minute to be proud of it. Like I had to do an interview with Generation Iron after that, and they asked me to bring my trophy back, and it was maybe a week and a half after, and I had a moment. Like that's where I really like it sunk in. I was like, wait, I'm proud of myself. Like holy crap. But in that moment, all I could think about is like, wait, like, okay, this is it. Like now I'm doing my first, speech as Miss Olympia. Like, what is that? Like, am I ready for it? But I've been chasing it for so long. I've been writing speeches every single Olympia. Like that Olympia was the only Olympia I didn't write a speech. As like, sometimes you visualize. I would always go in the plane and like try to visualize and write a speech. Like, what am I gonna say? What I'm gonna like, those things, whatever. I was like, this year I'm just enjoying it. I'm just present. This is it. And it was the most incredible feeling. But when it happened to do my speech, I was like, I forgot to mention Kim. Like that's how bad it ended up happening. So just again, like find your why, make it hard and strong so you can go back at it and make it easy for yourself. And then create a consistency, something like that's fun and enjoyable for yourself. And stop worrying, stop listening to other people that things they know better than yourself. And if you don't know yourself, that's when you're going to let a lot of the noise affect you, and that's when you need to do the work. So books, therapy, stillness, moment in stillness, go to the beach, go outside, like get grounded, like all this stuff, connect with your family, ask question to other people, but also to ask a question to other people in order to better know yourself. And that's why I'm so appreciative of the question. I really do hope it helps people reflect on themselves instead of like trying to know what I've been doing, because Guys, I have nothing. There's no pills in my hand. There's no red pill, no blue pill. I'm sorry, I don't have that. I don't have a blueprint. But I have 10 years of experience, and that's really what I have. As
fantastic,
amazing. Yeah, no.
Brilliant. I think that's a great way to wrap up, guys. So look, I want to say a huge thank you for being part of today. Hopefully, I can get you on. We've just launched a podcast with Kerry and Marnie, the two IP pros here in the UK. We're doing a weekly bikini episode, so hopefully we can get you on just before the Arnolds.
I would love to.
Thank you so much for your time, for being part of this. I really, really do appreciate it, especially your busy schedule. So thank you again, guys. Thank you for sending the questions. And yes, thank you again for supporting the event.
No, thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.